Hello, we are Laura and Jonas, an artist and a builder living on the Estonian island Saaremaa. We have been building up a small homestead here, made a no-dig garden, built our own cabin, and we have invited animals like rabbits, goats and chickens with us over those 4 years. And today I want to share a little bit about how much it all costed to set it up, because I know some of you are dreaming of doing something similar or are just researching the possibilities. So here is how much it did cost for us. So we are originally from Belgium, and before we made the move, we had 3 years time to save up enough money. So what we did is we worked and we saved up as much as possible by living very minimally, no car, no rent, avoiding all necessary expenses, growing a part of our own food. So we could set aside the money to jump into this adventure. So we managed to get together about 75,000 euros in that time period, also with the help of Jonas's parents. But 75,000 euros is not that much in this world, so we had to get really creative with how we went about doing this. So we looked around, like, what could we do with this kind of money without going into debt, without taking on a mortgage, and we wanted to stay in Europe. So we researched countries like Portugal, Spain. I think I even looked into Hungary at some point. And what we were looking for was a property that we could buy under 25,000 euros. And we ended up on the island Saaremaa in Estonia for multiple reasons, but also we found a plot of land here that was just 21,000 euros to purchase. And it had a little log cabin that we could live in for a little while, and it had a very old shed. And the bonus was also that there was a well, but at the time we didn't know if it was useful, but it ended up being perfectly fine after some cleaning. So the land was about 21,000 euros. And so we made the move. We purchased an old truck, our old white truck, and we used it to move all our stuff from Belgium. So we drove up and down a few times. We took a ferry as well, and we did all of the moving ourselves. So we renovated a small log house to live in for the first few years. That took us about 2,000 euros. So we replaced the roof, insulated it a little bit, and we also did some reed mods against the wall, and we did some earth plastering there. So all in all, that was like 2,000 euros, I would say, to make it more habitable. So the first thing that we set up on our land was our solar panel system. It's a kit that we bought back in Belgium, I think already 6 years ago. It was about 9,000 euros for 3 batteries with a total amount of power 7.2 kilowatts. So it came with 12 panels and the structure to set up the panels on top of, some batteries, and we also bought a generator as a backup system for the winter time when there's not enough sun to charge the batteries. So that was 10,000 euros in total. 9,000 for the solar setup and 1,000 for the generator. So the cabin that we live in now, we've built over a span of maybe 1.5 years' time. And I would say we had a budget of about 10,000 to make this happen, but maybe it ended up being around 12,000. It's made from straw bales, clay plaster and wood mainly. So we were able to save some money because we used like materials that we had on hand here, and we invested the time and the energy to learn the skills from books and from videos, for example, to do it ourselves. So that saved a lot of money there. But I also want to emphasize that like it's not perfect because it's the first time we ever built a house. So I remember in the first year I bought a lot of expensive compost. I think I invested about 1,000 euros, but I could only cover such a small area. I had totally different plans with the amount of compost that I purchased, but it didn't go that far. So I wouldn't necessarily do that again. I think other garden supplies was about another 500 in tools and also geotextile. We also invested in fencing for the animals and to keep the animals out. This was another 500. I also want to emphasize, although maybe the financial investment is smaller than most people make when starting a homestead, we invested a lot of our physical energy and a lot of our time. And we took the time to research and read books and watch videos on how to do things. So we figured out how to do it ourselves. So that was a big way to save money for us and to get us started. I already have plans to like rebuild everything that we made so far. So I think we're gonna be busy for a little while longer. The animals themselves were really cheap, so that's only a few hundred for all of them over the years. Our two greenhouses, we have like a round greenhouse and a small seedling greenhouse. That was together 700 euros, mostly for the polycarbonate for the roof and some of the woods. Other materials are all locally found here on the property, or we could salvage and recycle and use again, like the windows. We also invested in pot waste for our homestead, which really helps when with the seasons when there's a lot of mud, so it's still pleasant to walk around here. This is like a yearly maintenance thing. So, but in the first years, I think we spent around 500 euros to make the driveways and to cover all the main paths with a thick layer of wood chips. So before we made the move, we hadn't figured out that much with certainty how we were going to do this financially. Um, we knew we had to set aside 2 years of living expenses, so we could meanwhile set up some income streams and think about what we would do. In the first years, I thought I wanted to be a flower farmer. I don't think that was a very good idea. And also someone else, like one of the neighbors, is running a small flower farm that supplies locally, like the spa hotels and restaurants. So that's really nice. But I focused in on my art, which I really liked, and I set up an Etsy shop. Um, and it took a lot of time, and it was a slow progress because I didn't invest a lot of my time into it in the beginning. But so those 2 years of living expenses were really important for us because we could focus on building up the basics here without having to worry about making an extra income for those first 2 years, which really I think helped reduce the overwhelm, because I cannot imagine doing the same thing again with kids or with jobs or with a lot of external pressures. We really focused in hard, and in that way we could go a little bit faster with building things up here. So over time we developed a few income streams. Maybe that's for another video to talk a little bit about what those are. But it was scary nonetheless because we didn't know upfront if it would work. But we pulled through and we were able to make it work, so. Not mentioned yet are essential outside buildings like the woodshed and the storage space, which is another 1000 euros roughly, and some basic building tools that we bought in the first years. So all in all, that means, not counting our own living expenses and our small truck, that we made an investment of about 50,000 euros into this property and all the infrastructure for the first few years of living here. Now the basics are set up, and it will be a process of extending, improving and refining over the coming years. We still have many plans to make this place into our dream homestead, and I hope you will join us for the ride. So thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it was informative to you. If you are someone that is also searching for a way to live on the land and you think you need a big budget to do so, I hope this video might inspire some of you to rethink and to find the opportunities that are here and that are there to find. So good luck with your own journeys, and have a good day. Bye bye. See you all next time.